Good morning, everybody. It's Friday. Do you know what? I forgot what I just did then. Oh my goodness. Anyway, today is all about the post that I put up yesterday, and I think it's quite a powerful one. So if you do find some value in it, I'd love you to share it because we won't be the only ones that need to be thinking along these lines. So I would like you to consider, please, and I invite you to consider. What happens when you take yourself to pieces, limb by limb, cell by cell, character by character, um, just down to the absolute core of your being? What do you think actually happens? And have you ever considered what you're saying, the actual words that you're saying, and then experienced what actual emotion comes up and follows up behind it, if that makes sense? So it's that sort of, you know, oh, you're so fat. And then sit with it. Where does that resonate? It's a bit like a tuning fork. This is where we're going with this today. We're a bit like a tuning fork. So when you smack that tuning fork, which is, I'm so fat, and then you listen to the buzz and the hum. And actually, if you actually looked under special conditions, you would see the sound waves drifting out. And anybody who knows me will know that I love a little bit of quantum physics and what happens when you disturb the atmosphere and the environment around you. And that is exactly what we're talking about today. So, if you take nothing, do nothing from any personal development or any self coaching at all, ever in your entire life after today, I would like you to take this as a gift and share it with somebody else. Because if you don't want it, that's fine. But hold on to it, because one day, sometime in the future, and possibly not far off in the future, there will be somebody, there'll be a woman who, young woman, whatever age, who will be dismantling herself right in front of you. And I want you to think about this and think about sharing it with her. Um, Anyone who's followed me for any length of time will know that I talk about, the fact that we are very much energy based. My studies with energy medicine and things like that have taken me all over the place with my learnings, and it's been amazing. Um, and I talk about how much we are very much full of water, and we are sort of 80 odd percent water or something daft like that. And it's when we start talking to ourselves like this that you can actually see our environment changing. So think about when you have an anxious thought or a really sad thought, or you watch a really sad film and you really attach to it. We've talked about this before. You have an emotion with it. You end up crying. If they build up the music and you use all your senses, and then you're crying and you're sobbing, and this is a film, it's a cartoon. It doesn't mean any. So this is where we are so emotionally based. So if you think about how much you're running your own films with this dialogue that you're having, and then think about the environment that you're creating. Now, like I said, anxiety. We've done blood tests and things on people who have anxiety and thrills and spills, and you release hormones all over the place. So if you think about that going into your pool of beautiful fluids, which is what you are, you're going to taint them. You're just going to taint them. Now, I had a client last week who, excuse me, was absolutely racked with aches and pains and an ongoing cold that she couldn't shift, and her head felt foggy, and it was like, oh, I don't know where I'm going and I can't sort anything out. So I introduced her to the concept of a bowl of water, and I heard this somewhere else. And I asked her, if I gave you a bowl of silted water, muddy silted water, how would you get that to clear? And she did. She looked at it and she said, well, I'd have to tip the water out and sift it, or I would boil it. I would boil it. And I pointed out to her that actually the boiling of this water, what would it actually do? And it would keep the silt churning. So she suddenly dawned on her. So to clear it with any silted water, you would leave it. You would just leave it for a few days and let the silt just settle and have that clear water on top. And it was quite an eye-opener for her. So what I then did is I introduced her to her younger self. I said, go back and think of yourself, the earliest memory that you can think of, and describe yourself to me. And she did. And she described this little girl of a little cute little thing with bright blue eyes. And she was great fun. And she just, all of her language was protective, affectionate, loving, encouraging, light. It was nothing heavy in there. And then I asked her to now think about speaking to her younger self with the same language that she was using on her, that she was thick, that she was hormonal, that she was this, that she was that, and how rubbish she was at everything. And it was an absolute revelation to see this woman change. And I said, that little girl is you. That little girl is you. How can one deserve one thing and the other deserve the other? And then I tried to introduce her to, I did introduce her, but it's a massive topic. And anybody out there who's interested in Dr. Emoto's research, Dr. Emoto's from Japan. He's died now. I think he died in 2014, but he did the most amazing study. And I'm very much into my Far Eastern medicines and things because I think they've been far more intelligent than us for many, many years. But anyway, they took water and they looked at water crystals, and they found that depending on the water that they took the samples from were different crystals. So then he tried an experiment where I think he sat in exactly the same conditions. He set 2 glasses of water. And the people came in and they shouted abuse and hurled abuse at this glass of water or this bottle and jar of water, and gave lots of horrible words and things like that to this jar of water. And then the other one, they played beautiful music and went in and talked about love and compassion and warmth and all those lovely things. And when they examined the 2 samples of water, they were completely different. And I mean, so much so that actually the one with the love and all the nice words was a really beautiful crystal, and the other one wasn't. Now, I encourage you to go and look at it. You don't have to believe me. I'm not asking you to believe me. But if we can change water, and we are all water, but with the language and what we feed ourselves, it's no wonder we get ulcers. It's no wonder we get aches and pains, and we are full of poison and negativity and feel rubbish and lack motivation and lack energy if we are using all those words within us. So please, ladies, anybody who's watching this, think about what you do to yourself. Laugh. You do something wrong, you go, good God, whoever made you do that? Is what you would do if you were nurturing somebody you totally loved and respected. You wouldn't call them an idiot. You wouldn't call them a failure. You wouldn't call them a whatever your language is. You'd go, come on, let's do it again. Practice makes perfect. And you would love somebody through it. You are lovable. Your little one is still inside you. Every time, I've done this in the write-up, every time you criticize yourself, if you are a parent, you are criticizing your child. You are marking that child's card for its future because they're watching you. They are your DNA. I really hope this has been useful to you. Like I said, always say, please share. Let me know what you think. Let me know if it's been useful. And yeah, have a great weekend. Bye-bye for now.